police emergency, warning markers for firearms.
Get on the ground!
Block it in, block it in, block it in.
He's now off in the field.
Derbyshire's traffic cops.
There's one that thinks fine. I'm going to try and keep up with it.
Battling crime in the middle of the country.
Open the door now!
He smashed down a bollard.
Face down now. I ain't done nothing.
From the picturesque peaks
Vehicle RTC.
Treating it as life-threatening.
to the inner cities.
Yeah, it's done me.
This side. He's going to decamp.
It's a decamp, 4 runners.
Under threat
You do what I tell you. Do not put your hands anywhere near your pockets.
and at risk.
Watch him.
Monks on. We're on 2 traffic cars now.
Around every corner,
Don't forget.
there's a new challenge
Hands on the wall.
for the traffic cops.
Coming up, bikers on the edge.
If we've got a motorbike failing to stop, drop back.
A novice rider takes the cops on a dangerous runaround.
Come on.
100-mile-an-hour chase through rush hour traffic.
And I have lost sight of him at the minute. I'll need a helicopter.
And dealing with the tragic aftermath when it all goes horribly wrong.
The rider's in cardiac arrest and they're performing CPR on him, so it's not sounding good at all.
Stop to stinging. Yeah, 2-4. Gents, after this traffic then, move up please.
There are nearly 1.3 million motorbikes on Britain's roads. When driven dangerously, the results are often devastating.
I'm clear now, traffic.
Traffic cop Craig Dawes is in pursuit of an off-road motorbike that's being ridden without a number plate.
And if we've got a motorbike failing to stop, it bowled over. You've got an helmet on, just no number plate, speed's 30. We're just going to follow it for a safe distance at this time.
Sometimes when vehicles don't display number plates, it's because they're stolen. It may be an unregistered off-road bike. And 3, it may be a road legal bike, but because of the manner of driving, speeding, they take the plates off.
Yeah, into Bolzo, there's 2 of us.
His idea of what that bike can do actually is far more than the bike's capabilities.
The RA is low, there's nobody else around, the speed's only 40.
Craig moves alongside to try and slow the rider down.
And my intention are, if I can safely, to block it in with the car that is in front of it.
Yeah, he's been trying to goad us a little bit.
If he sees it at the side of him, he's going to think, game's up here, I'll pull over. He's just trying to force him into that stop, but doing it safely.
The bike does a quick U-turn, leaving Craig scrambling to turn around.
It's back towards Bolsover Marketplace, speed 30.
But the way it's driving, it doesn't look the most competent, confident rider. He's putting his leg down at every point. There's a lot of wobbling going off. We've then got to be careful, because if he ditches it, he's going to hurt himself.
Stand by, he's just approaching a red traffic light. Yeah, he's slowing. He's gone through a red light, there's no other vehicles around. Yeah, got M-Pass or anything. Speed is 30. Not really taking any risks, that's why we're continuing.
The bike was kind of a dirty, old-looking pit bike that sounds awful. Low value, but they'll think they can outrun us by going off-road.
With the biker going across a park, Craig loses sight of him.
Yeah, don't cross him home, he's gone off-road.
The odds are 100% in his favour now. We're lost.
But Craig's not giving up. He begins searching the local area.
I'm thinking he'll come out and go right, so if I park up the road, I can see him. Just see this bike flying past, I'm thinking, no way, I never thought I'd see that again. It's a bit like a carry-on film where off we go again.
Back towards the Texaco Garage Ned, New Station Road. Come by.
He's undertaking overtaking vehicles, going on the wrong side, failing to comply with traffic lights.
Approaching a set of lights, they're going through the sequence, they are red. They've gone through on red. The RA is low. No vehicles are coming to it through the clear. 150 yards from the right-hand turn towards Upper Langworth, and it's a right towards Shirebrook. My thoughts are, Renee, when he gets in Shirebrook, knows the area, he will go off-road. There is 2 off-road tracks coming up, so I'm assuming he's probably going to take one of those. Again, it's left towards Langworth.
I can hear the engine on the bike, he's struggling. He was doing a lot of messing around the engine.
Entering in 3-0, speed is 50. The RA is low, stand by. Traffic lights are on red. He is slowing. The RA is gone back too high as he's gone through the light. Come on! Yeah, it's a right. It looks like he's just gone off-road a little bit, but it looks like he's struggling for fuel. He's messing around with the fuel tank.
Towards elbow.
And it's a decamp.
Yeah, decamp Langworth Drive.
The rider goes on the run into a local estate.
Then he's coming out towards you. Yeah, I'm just trying to find out where.
After a thorough search of the area, the riders managed to get away.
Went right to the top, it looks like they're having fuel issues, and he's just jumped off. And then legged it. Is he on foot? Yes, on foot. And it's just the info, there's no damage, there's no contract or anything. He's fell off. Oh no, he's jumped off, sorry.
I'm thinking we've got his bike, which is a bonus. I'm quite happy that at least it's going to stop him doing the similar thing again. So might not have got him at the time, but hopefully he'll come later on.
Coming up, a careless biker treating the roads like a racetrack.
If he comes off that, not good.
The rider's in cardiac arrest.
And a tragic accident.
Come this way, he's lost it here and basically gone into the bus stop.
But could it be a case of hit and run?
Kind of hits the back of the car, doesn't it?
And now it's Tango 27.
Around 18,000 motorbike riders are injured on Britain's roads every year, and more than 300 are killed.
Let's get a vehicle check, M1 North.
Near Mansfield, traffic cop Carl Jackson is on patrol in an unmarked car.
He's worth a follow, isn't he? Number plate's unreadable.
The problem I have straight away with this particular bike is the rider is wearing shorts and a t-shirt, a pair of trainers, so he's not exactly got a lot of protection.
If he comes off that, not good. Gonna struggle to keep with him. Where's he going?
In the UK, bikers are only required to wear a helmet. Many don't wear other protective gear which could save their life.
And I can have a vehicle check. E38 towards Mansfield.
At this point, I'm thinking he's going to be worth a follow. See what he does, see how he behaves. He's not obviously picked up who I am because I'm in an unmarked car. It's almost like if you're riding a sports bike, you have to ride it like you're racing it, riding it like they're on a racetrack, when they're not.
Yeah, stand by, it's hard to read, it's a motorcycle. time to record that.
The speed that he's riding at is three-figure speeds. The way he rides is quite an aggressive style of riding. So that in itself is a bit of a warning flag to who you're dealing with, essentially, and the risks they're kind of willing to take.
I thought them cars were going to go a bit quicker than they did, so I've lost my cover a bit here. It might be these lights, unless he's managed to get through. Flipping gone, hasn't it? He's there. Damn! He's gone. Where are we now? We'll do well to find him now. He's there, look. That's worth doing. I know that motorcyclist I tried to give the plate of is failing to stop. And I have lost sight of him at the minute. He's got a helmet on. I'll need a helicopter. On Alder Way. It's a total loss at the minute. I'll try and get the reg for it. It was on a very small number plate, but essentially it drew my attention because he was doing over 100 mile an hour on the A38, and it's disappeared now. Well, I'm never going to keep up with that. It'll do like 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds on that thing. Essentially, he had a small number plate and was driving a bit fast. So I don't know what else he's done, but he didn't want to stop, did he? But he's currently 1-0 to him because he's evaded capture. Essentially, the owner of that bike we will try and speak to or give a notice of intended prosecution. And as the owner, he needs to tell us who was riding it. Ideally, we'll find the bike and then just seize it, because it gets that bike off the road and it prevents it from failing to stop in the future. The risk with that is, I pursue that and he starts taking more risks, he's going to end up coming off that motorcycle at high speed in shorts and a t-shirt.
It's frustrating that we haven't caught up with the chap at the time, but I can't dwell on it. It's on to the next job.
You can only be lucky for so long. One day your luck runs out, doesn't it? And that's the day either we catch him or the day he kills himself.
Tango Sierra 2, 29.
Right.
Ned, do you want me to continue to this other job, or do you want me to divert to this collision?
It's early evening, and traffic cop Matt Cooling receives a report about a serious incident.
And you wanted to last, I'm going to divert.
Yeah, 10:24 will do.
So there's a collision that's just been reported to us that involves a motorcyclist, and it's possibly going to be a fatality. Some suggestion that both legs have been amputated, and the rider's in cardiac arrest, and they're performing CPR on him at the moment, so it's not sounding good at all.
Carl Jackson is one of the first to respond.
When I arrive, there is fire service there and Helimed doctors on scene. The paramedics are doing CPR on the motorcycle rider. And so as I arrive, they are still trying to save his life. He is having CPR to try and get a pulse back in him, bring him back to life, give him some sort of chance.
Okay.
But unfortunately, that doesn't happen. His injuries are too severe, and he's pronounced dead at the scene.
N.A. Hems doctor pronounced deceased at 2039.
Sadly, we do have multiple fatal collisions each year that involve motorcyclists. You know, each one is traumatic for that family and the emergency services that go and the witnesses that see it. You know, they're not nice things to deal with.
Other traffic officers and the collision investigation team are also at the site of the accident.
Sorry, just all right.
Matt,
Cool. Are you happy to take over scene log, mate?
Yeah,
I've just got to go with Jacko just to go and see.
You doing the next kid?
Family.
Yeah.
She already knows, but she's gone a bit.
I've spoken to her already.
Yeah.
I'll go and do some family liaison stuff.
Yeah. It's just single vehicle then.
Yeah, he's come this way. He's lost it here, and basically he's come off the bike and he's gone into a bus stop, and that's what took his legs. And then he's landed there.
Oh, crikey, mate.
Riding it in a pair of shorts.
Yeah,
shorts and t-shirt.
And trainers.
And trainers.
PC Chris Wells-Jackson is one of the first officers to arrive.
The closest witness has seen him hit something over here, and the only thing that makes it obvious that he's collided with is the bus stop, because there's a smashed pane, and the marks that the collision investigation team have marked out on the road all sort of lead to that curbside, the bus stop, and then where the deceased laid with his vehicle. So it just appears at the moment that he's took this little bend too fast and he's not been able to make the bike go straight as he's come out of it, and he's gone straight into there. So
PC Young and Jackson are going to go to the family now. It's their job now to go and sadly update the next of kin now, formally, and then obviously answer any sort of queries and questions that they'll have now.
It's part of the job we do as police officers and as traffic police. We attend serious and unfortunately fatal road traffic collisions, and there's always family and friends that obviously want to know what's happened. They're aware, they live up the road, so they've been here already, a young lady. So I shall go and see her at home. I told her to go back to her home address, and I'll go and chat to her there, do some family liaison stuff. It's quite a long process that we have to do, but initially I'll just go and speak to her and answer any questions I can that she might have, and reassure her that we'll find out what's happened as best we can. It's quite a sad part. She's obviously very upset. She won't have taken it all in yet, so she's gone home and she's with a friend at home, so she's going to sit with a friend, and I'll go and speak to them a bit further about what's happened. With families immediately after someone's died, our involvement with the family initially is quite intense. It's very upsetting for them. That emotion you try to not let affect you too much if you can, but we're all human.
Whilst Carl goes to see the family, Matt and the team collect evidence from the accident.
So I think at the minute there's some possible CCTV that's been identified that may show some of the build-up to the collision.
every house on here seems to only have doorbell cameras or ring cameras which all pick up motion. So I've texted the guy who's in the first house after the cordon. He's got a ring doorbell. He's going to check remotely for me now because he's not in. And he's going to text me if he's got anything on his footage between those times. It absolutely helps build the story as to what's happened, because you could go half a mile back and you might get evidence of that motorbike doing something that would corroborate why this has happened here. And that's why we're trawling for CCTV that far out of the cordon itself, because it all builds up a nice big picture.
Crash Detective Sergeant Darren Muggleton is the officer in charge of the investigation.
We have got some conflicting information in that we have got some witnesses that are saying that they didn't believe anything else was involved in this crash. However, we've got two ladies that were in a vehicle who they're not 100% sure, but they thought it might have clipped another vehicle that was travelling in the opposite direction to the motorcycle. So those two ladies have supposedly got some dash camera footage.
Forensic collision investigator Matt Lacey is part of Darren's team.
I'd like to know before we wrap up what the dash cam shows. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because if he has clipped somebody, we're waiting to look at some of the dash cam footage from a camera fitted to the Seat that was following directly behind the motorbike. Because at this stage there's some suggestion that the bike may have clipped a vehicle coming the opposite way as it was performing an overtake. Now, that may just be a witness making a mistake, or it could have actually happened, but either way we don't have a vehicle that has said it's clipped the bike as it's performing an overtake. So it's important that we find out before we leave the scene to make sure we don't miss anything. And if there is a vehicle such a vehicle. Obviously that changes the investigation slightly at this early stage.
Back at the station, the team is watching the dashcam footage.
He's been pretty quick there.
He must be doing what, 60, 70 at least?
Yeah, well, yeah. Look, brake lights on that car.
Yeah, it's clipped.
Yes, you do see him.
Has he braked? And he knows he has.
He knows
he's
it,
braked. You look at his reaction.
Yeah.
He's coming around that bend there.
He must know. He changes his course, doesn't he?
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, he's braked.
Kind of hits the back of the car, doesn't it? The
back
car
end
seems to
almost
twitch, doesn't it?
The officers now need to track down the driver. Coming up,
There's some suggestion it might be a hit and run as well now.
Matt may have found the mystery vehicle.
Oh, there you go, what's this here? That definitely looks fresh, doesn't it?
And a biker lashes out when a drunk driver takes him out.
Yeah. How much have you had to drink today?
He's come this way, he's lost it here, and basically he's come off the bike and he's gone into a bus stop.
10 miles east of Derby, the traffic cops are investigating a fatal collision involving a motorbike rider.
He changes his course, doesn't he?
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, he's braked.
Kind of hits the back of the car, doesn't it? The
back
car
end
seems to
almost
twitch, doesn't it?
Dashcam footage shows that a second vehicle may have been involved. Forensic collision investigator Matt Lacey is part of the team and wants to track down the car which failed to stop at the scene.
The officer has taken the dashcam away. He's had a look at it and he wants to make contact with a vehicle that he can see on the dashcam to kind of rule out whether there was any contact between the bike and that vehicle. It's not conclusive, I don't think, but it's enough for us to want to go and look at this vehicle, which we have identified. Are they aware? Were they not aware? And if they were aware, and indeed there was contact, are they trying to hide something? Is there something that we need to know about? So it is important we make contact with them as soon as possible.
So we're making his way now to the registered keeper's address of that particular vehicle to establish, if we can, if it's involved in the collision itself. There could have been a coming together. That could have also then played a part in why the motorcyclist has then lost control. So we'll get there and we'll see if we can establish what part it's played.
You have reached your destination.
So I'm going down, mate. What you got? Your sign? Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, cool. A quick look. Yeah. What's that? Look. That does look quite fresh. That there's something there. Look. We'll have a chat with him. Look that there. What's that there?
How do you expect more than that?
Oh, there you go. What's this here?
That's fresh, isn't it?
Yeah, look at this here. I'm just thinking, is it worth me taking some pictures quickly and sending them to Muggo via Teams?
Yeah, do that.
Now?
Yeah. Cool.
Camera. Just torch this side then if you can. I mean, that definitely looks fresh, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's the way it'd go, wouldn't it, with a, passing collision. Hello. Oh yeah, thanks. Cheers. We've come because of a collision involving a motorcycle. What? Obviously, you know about it, mate. The first words out of your mouth. So, what is it you know about it then? Initial impressions of the driver was it almost anticipated us coming, which I thought was odd because he wasn't sat there denying he'd been involved in a collision or that he weren't aware of it. He obviously was.
The man claims he didn't realise that the bike had made contact with his car until he stopped later and saw the damage.
I find it odd that he'd not made any effort to contact the police, but in the same token, he may not have realised what's happened behind him and how serious it was. So, you know, that you just have to bear that in mind, that he may not be fully aware of what's actually happened. What's happened has resulted in a fatality, okay? Obviously, we've had a quick look at your car, and obviously it looks like, yes, there's fresh damage to your car. Okay, so in our mind, obviously we think that obviously it's because of the coming together, okay, with the bike and your car. As I say, we're quite happy at the moment to say that you're a witness, you know, and that you've been caught up in it. If we weren't, we would be, you know, unfortunately, we would end up arresting you at this stage. So, okay, thank you, Doc. Thank you. Cheers.
Crash Detective Sergeant Darren Muggleton is still at the site of the accident.
The damage is fresh, mate. It has been caused by the motorcycle, although he didn't realise that until later. He has also got dash cam, which is burnt or is put onto a memory stick. We're going to seize the car. We now know it's been involved in a collision because the registered keeper's admitted to that fact now. So our thoughts of all that looks fresh damage has now been confirmed. But we've breath tested him, the driver, and he's blown zero, so we know we weren't drink driving or anything. That's not played a factor on. And all his driving documents are in order, so yeah, at the moment he'll be treated as a witness until, you know, unless something else contradicts that. If he'd done something wrong, or he thought he'd done something wrong, you know, would there have been a dash cam there? You know, would it have disappeared? Obviously it's very serious if people do start tampering with evidence, but you know, I don't think, you know, he'd be answering the door saying, yeah, here you go, here's the footage I've done for you. So he's obviously, you know, trying to be as helpful as he can.
Back at the station, Matt and the team are keen to look at this new dashcam footage.
So that is the original dash cam with the cards in there.
Let's have a look. Desperate to see what it was like on the other angle.
What you see is him trundle up to that road from another road, turn right, go along the road past the bus stop, go a bit further, maybe another, I don't know, 50 yards, maybe 200 yards. And there's a car coming towards him, and then suddenly the motorbike appears, from overtaking that car towards him, comes towards him on the wrong side of the road, and obviously then he comes out of view at this point here, which is the bit where obviously presume the collision, the glancing blows took place.
Ah, so that turn that you see on the other footage is him trying to avoid it.
If that's his view, he sees that really, really late, yeah.
Which is probably explaining
the camera's pointing to the left, but that is, yeah, Jesus.
He claims not to have realised an impact took place there until later, but it doesn't sound like he's obviously seen what's happened afterwards. If he got anything to hide, mate, why would he leave his car in his drive? Why would he start getting the footage ready? And ultimately, mate, watching his footage, he's not doing anything wrong. He's on his side of the road, suddenly he's met with this motorbike that just appears on the wrong side of it.
I think that's probably backed up and echoed by the dash cam from the vehicle in the opposite direction.
It's really important that we establish exactly what's happened and why. You know, sadly we're dealing with an incident where someone's lost a life, and you know, we owe it to that person to provide answers to the family that they've left behind, because they'll want to know exactly what's happened to the loved one.
Motorcyclists are 25 times more likely to have an accident than car drivers.
Motorbike rider is where the accident has happened. The car, the front bumper's hanging off, very so he's the motorcyclist.
Yeah, I see it just round the corner, I think.
Traffic cop Dan Mitchell is responding to another collision involving a car and a motorbike.
Got a further call. People are currently at the scene trying to keep the driver of the car.
There's been some sort of altercation with the rider and the driver, so we'll just see what's occurring. They're 4 on stage 6. Are you the guy that's been knocked off? Can you just wait there? You're right. That's fine, we'll sort that out afterwards. What's occurred? Yeah.
Knocked the man off the bike.
Okay.
The man on the bike has assaulted him.
Yeah.
But this man can't even walk straight.
Okay.
He's totally off his trolley.
Okay.
His car.
Yeah.
Is 2 streets down. He's got no front end on his car.
Did you follow him down?
There's another man that's followed me down as well.
Is he with
And
the other
he's gone-
car?
Yeah, and he's gone to get the registration of that car.
Okay.
Yeah, he did
Do you want to have a seat? And I ask Tango 41. I think the crux of this is that the driver of the car that's now parked a couple of streets down has knocked this motorcyclist off. The motorcyclist got up and then assaulted the driver, and the driver's appears to be a bit drunk. So we've got a couple of offences here. Mate, do you want to follow me? Have you got any identification on you? Okay. He's a guy that's been knocked off the bike, but he's then clocked him. So
He smacked straight my face.
yeah, come here.
He smacked me.
Yeah. Have you got your identification?
I'll say name and address, everything.
Yeah.
When he smacked me, straight
Yeah.
away, he fell over.
Yeah.
He smacked me on the face.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything wrong.
Okay.
He damaged me.
Yeah. Have a seat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Already died it.
Whilst Dan deals with the driver, a colleague talks to the motorbike rider.
Right, well, because you've been involved in a road accident, it requires a sample of breath, all right? Okay. Just keep blowing the tube till it did stop.
The rider says that the car pulled out of a side road in front of him. He was then forced to brake and collided with the side of the car.
Yep, 0. Right, regards to the RTC, because you've assaulted him, we'll deal with that slow time. We're going to deal with him in a minute. But yeah, we're going to have to speak to you about that later stage. All right?
I wouldn't say that motorbikes are at higher risk of being involved in a crash. What I would say is that if they are involved in a crash, there is a higher chance that they're going to come away with an injury. How much have you had to drink today?
I just left my niece's house.
Yeah. How much have you had to drink then?
I think a lot.
A lot?
No.
You've not had a lot?
But I had drink.
You have had a drink? Yes. It looks like you've had a lot to me. You drive a car and you are in a big steel box. So you need to be more observant for cyclists, pedestrians, motorcyclists, things like that. Unfortunately, some people aren't very observant. That motorcyclist, it could have been dead. So, nice deep breath and blow into the machine. Blow, blow, don't suck, blow. If you don't do it properly, I'll just arrest you for being unfit. All right? So blow. Do you understand that? Right, blow. Blow, 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 blow. Thank you. Massively. 109. Right, pal, I've got to tell you at this moment in time, you're under arrest for driving whilst over prescribed limit. Reason for your arrest is that you've given me a roadside breath reading of 109.
What he did.
The limit is 35. So now we're going to go to Derby Police Station where you can do 2 more evidential tests, okay? All right? Do you understand that?
What he did.
109. Okay,
Why he smacked me?
Probably because you've knocked him off his bike. So swing your legs in and put your seatbelt on. Okay, I need to go to the police station now, mate.
Yeah, that's fine.
The driver is more than 3 times over the limit.
My feelings about drink drivers. Selfish, in the main, arrogant. There's not a lot of nice words that I could use to describe my thoughts about what I think about drink drivers. Potential killers.
So I'll ask one question here.
Yeah.
Why smack me?
You've crashed into him. Understand, right? You have been drink driving, and you could have potentially killed someone.
No.
But let's be thankful that no one's dead.
That's it.
Yeah. Yes. No one's died.
That's it.
Which is a blessing.
Thank God.
Yes. That way. Come on then, mate. Whoa, mind your face.
At the police station, The man's required to take 2 more breath tests.
Off we go. He's blown 109, but then also given another reading of 111, which suggests that he's still going up, so the alcohol's still being absorbed. But he, as you can see, he was just so drunk, to the point where he couldn't even work the seatbelt in the back of the car. He couldn't stand up straight, he was talking over people. That just tells you how inebriated he actually was. And for the fact that someone thinks it's appropriate to be able to get behind the wheel of a car in that state is quite frankly disgusting. He has knocked the motorcyclist off. Thankfully there's no injuries, and thankfully there's no other collisions. That was someone's life waiting to be taken, I think. If he'd have gone any further, from what people have been saying, he's only just come out of that road, so he's not even made the first junction without colliding with someone, which is, it's just unbelievable, really. All right, I'll see you in a bit. Get your head down.
Coming up,
That's a motorbike.
another biker in serious trouble
Stand by, I'll just get injuries.
as he ends up through the rear window of a Mercedes at 60 miles an hour.
I seen him in the back of my car, just arms and a head.
.20 from 23. Mate, it is on the entry slip to the 38.
Derbyshire traffic cop Craig Dawes is on his way to a collision involving a motorbike.
Details are quite scarce, really. All we've got is 3 vehicles and a motorbike.
In Britain, bikers account for just 1% of road traffic, but 20% of all fatalities.
An 823, can we get highways as well, please? Gonna need recovery, full recovery for, that's a motorbike.
The motorbike rider is being treated in the ambulance.
Stand by, just get injuries if there's any. Have we got any injuries, serious injuries or anything?
It's running to back a car. It's not even touched the floor.
Just a quick update, it's a motorbike has gone actually in the back of a vehicle. The motorbike rider's become wedged in the actual rear windscreen of the vehicle. Whose is this one? Have you got any damage or anything?
No, we're just going to be a witness.
You've witnessed it? Okay,
Yeah.
What's happened?
Basically, there were a lorry, and I think he stopped, and then there were a car behind him. The car behind him's basically tried swerving into a lane where this motorbike and the Mercedes was. The Mercedes broke, and then the motorbike's crashed into it.
Yeah, received. Speaking to an independent witness, a vehicle's pulled out from lane 1 into lane 2, which has caused the Mercedes to brake heavily. Unfortunately, the motorcycle's not been able to slow down in time, and he's collided with the rear.
The Mercedes driver works for the police and was on his way home.
When I seen him in the back of my car, just arms and a head. It was crazy. I didn't know what to think. I instantly stopped, just so he stays there. Because obviously it could have caused more damage to him. If he'd come off the car and I carried on, maybe car from behind would hit him. After he's gone into the back of my car, he's actually stayed there. It's only until I've stopped the car, he's come out of it. The thing is, I do this for a living, police investigation. So, to witness something like that, it's not nice. Not nice at all.
I'll just check on his injuries.
I think I've just got maybe a fractured wrist, so luckily I had all my protective gear on, and my MT carbon helmet, and yeah, been very lucky.
With most people going over handlebars like that, it's gone over handlebars. We usually see broken legs here or here, and it's absolutely got nothing because it's got obviously this protective padding in his trousers. So it's been very lucky, absolutely very lucky.
So you've actually come to rest through the back windscreen?
Yeah.
At first I thought he didn't notice. He was going to carry on.
And he carried on down the 38.
I'm like, I'm banging on route just in case.
You're joking?
Not far. I think he would just move out of the way of traffic, but I panicked in case he was...
So he actually travelled some distance in his... stuck in his windscreen?
His back windscreen, yeah. Not a scratch on it.
Not a scratch on your helmet. That's been through the back of a car windscreen and not a scratch on it. It just shows the importance of buying decent kit. This has clearly saved his life. You know, he's gone through the windscreen head first, not a mark on it. So very, very lucky boy. Mate, I would definitely get some lottery numbers on tonight. He valued his life. He took safety very, very seriously. And this is a great advert for the safety on bikes. You buy the correct gear and you might walk away. You can see from the state of that, it's got massive heavy front damage. I mean, he's probably been going 60, 70 mile an hour at least, so yes.
Every year, more than 300 riders die on Britain's roads.
One thing when you're on a bike is you're very, very vulnerable. You know, if you come off even at 15, 20 mile an hour, the chances are you're going to either injure or break something. If you run into something in a car, yeah, you'll bend the wing, you'll bend the bonnet. You run into something on a bike, it's going to be your legs, bones. If you come off, you are going to be hurt, unfortunately.
We've all seen the guys that ride around with no gloves, t-shirt, shorts, flip-flops, and at 70 miles an hour, you come off a motorbike, you're going to be in a world of pain for a long time.
Can't say it's always the motorcyclist's fault, but a lot of the time, the reason they come off is because of how they are riding on that day. Riding it like they're on a racetrack, when they're not. And they may well ride on a racetrack and have track days and fly around flat out at nearly 200 mile an hour, but the roads of Derbyshire are not designed for that. And that's where people get it wrong.
In this episode,
we've got a motorbike failing to stop.
the off-road biker who failed to stop for Craig Dawes could not be identified.
Went right to the top, it looks like they're having fuel issues and he's just jumped off.
But after the bike was recovered, it was confirmed to be stolen.
He's worth a follow, isn't he? Good tell.
The sports bike rider who raced away from Carl Jackson at over 100 miles an hour
He's there. Damn!
has not yet come forward, despite a notice of intended prosecution being sent to the owner's address. The bike owner could now also be facing charges of failing to provide details of the rider and fines and points on his licence.
He smacked me on the paper.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything wrong.
Okay.
The drunk driver, who was punched by a motorcyclist in Derby, was convicted of driving over 3 times the limit.
Massively. 109.
And was sentenced to a community order, fined £100 and has been disqualified from driving for 2 years.
With regards to the RTC, because you've assaulted him, we'll deal with that slow time.
The rider received a caution in relation to the assault.
How lucky are you?
It's very lucky indeed.
So you've actually come to rest through the back windscreen?
Yeah.
No action was taken against any of those involved in the accident on the A38, which resulted in the biker smashing through the rear windscreen of an off-duty crash investigator.
When I seen him in the back of my car, just arms and a head, it was crazy. I didn't know what to think.
The rider made a full recovery.
It's just single vehicle then?
Yeah, he's come this way, he's lost it here, and basically he's come off the bike and he's gone into the bus stop.
And the investigation into the death of the rider caught on dashcam moments before his fatal collision is still ongoing.
The only reason it's actually activated is not through motion, it's through how high that sound is as it's gone past.
Of his exhaust.
Of his exhaust, because otherwise it wouldn't pick anything up.
Police believe the rider may have been under the influence of alcohol at the time of the crash, and his speed may have also been a major contributory factor to the man losing control and colliding with the bus stop.
We are lucky that he didn't come into contact with anyone else. Let's just say, for argument's sake, people have been waiting at the bus stop. They wouldn't have been able to get out of the way of a bike weighing, close to 200 kilos, hurtling at them at 80 miles an hour. So I think, it doesn't bear thinking about. I think we can all imagine what the consequences would have been.